Ni hao, da jia hao. Hi everybody. Hey, how are you doing? Jan, nice to see you. All right, listen, I'm really sorry. Those of you who follow me, you know, and I'm sure you saw my attempt at logging on a couple of times through to the different services. Stream. I'm not connected to YouTube. It's not working. I don't know why. YouTube is I don't know. They've done some things with the way they've changed the streaming studio, you know, and I don't know. Been having conversations with Jake over at Prism, you know, the people at Naver who do Prism Live Studio, and supposedly everything's, you know, set, and apparently Restream.io has made some adjustments. I mean, I've reconnected. Myrna, how are you? Nice to have you with us. All right, the whole house is going to be in here. We're just going to have to watch on Periscope tonight or on Twitch. We're also on Facebook if you want to hang out where there isn't a whole lot of people on there right now. I just started streaming to Facebook again. Now I got my red mask on. Let me go ahead and take it off because we have no lockdown here in Taiwan. Oh, I know, I'm not very good looking, but hey, never said I was a movie star. Nice to see you again too. Thank you. All right, now what I'm going to do is, after this stream, although people aren't able to comment on YouTube, I most certainly can upload this to YouTube later, so I can still maintain, you know, my my videos there. So I want to thank my sponsor, ivideo.com.tw, and I have put the URL for them. That's not the main URL for my discount code, but if you look in the description of oh wow, it's a big rat again. Looking for the description, look in the description or in the profile depending on what platform you're looking at, you can get a 10% discount code. And during these times, everybody's internet stretched to the limit. One of these little boxes can help. When I went on vacation, the hotel internet was terrible, and I stuck that thing in a window. Now, I'm going to stick my phone in the window because one little bump and it goes sailing down and busts. But Wi-Fi box is very robust and it's very heavy, and it sits in the, well, it's not too heavy to carry, but it sits nicely on the windowsill. It's not slippery. All right, now tonight I got a little bit of Jim Beam because that's some across the street and it was kind of cheap, and I'm drinking a kind of a highball. We have this interesting stuff here. This is actually a type of lemon soda, and it's really nice. I'm drinking this lemon soda with a little bit of Jim Beam. It's a beautiful night here. You can probably hear there's a bit of a breeze. I'm going to say it's about 24 maybe, 24C. Beautiful. I love it. So welcome everyone on Twitch and Periscope and Facebook, and unfortunately no YouTube. But I know I'll be talking to Jake about it tomorrow because the Prism guys check in with me on my streams, and when I got problems, and they like to look at them. Now, I got some chips tonight. I know it was on my fast. I've been depressed. I got a really, really, really bad case of depression this past week. Depression, negative thinking, it was really bad. I had to snap out of it. So, you know, I think probably the most valuable thing that you can ever have is a good friend. And I relied heavily on my good friends this week, let me tell you. All right, this is a Lay's potato chips. Now it's kind of red here, but this is, over here this says Dongjing, which means Tokyo. Okay, that means East Capital, Tokyo. And this over here is, this word, believe it or not, is the word for like meat on a stick. See, it's pretty cool. That's what it looks like. This looks like little chunks of meat. But this is chicken, and this is, the other word up here is grill. So this is grilled chicken stick flavor. This is a kind of Japanese grilled chicken stick flavor. And I want to try these because I was on my fast. I lost some weight. I got really depressed. I decided to start eating because it made me feel better. I put some of it back on, not all of it, but I'll be fasting again soon. But when you're fasting, these are the kinds of things that you want to avoid, but nevertheless, I'm going to try it anyway. Now, this is the Tokyo style chicken sticks. Now I'm going to do my usual, review here. So, first of all, it doesn't have the classic potato chip smell. I smell strong presence of salt, maybe MSG. There's something else in there. It's not smoke. It's a very strong flavor. It's a meat flavor. It smells like meat. Now the funny thing is, potato chips are one of those, flavored potato chips are one of those foods that when you smell them, it doesn't really smell like anything. I've had like the steak ones that when you ate them, you swore. One time I swore I was eating a ribeye steak, and instead of paying $40 for a big ribeye, I'm going to go over here and spend $1 for a pack of chips. But they never smell like it. I smelled that when I was very underwhelmed by the aroma. Nope. This doesn't smell like the typical ones, but it still doesn't smell like any kind of Tokyo chicken. Strong potato flavor though. These are the ridges, and the ridged ones seem to have more flavor than the flat ones. Okay, wow. It's like 30 dB down. I do taste a little bit of chicken. I know what flavor this is. This is that. They brush it with a sauce. Kind of sweet. Anyway, Jan, I think you know that flavor what I'm talking about. Well, I'll say this. If I didn't know that that's what it was supposed to be, I wouldn't be able to guess. So I would say that on 1 to 5, I'd say it's about 2.5. Lay's has really hit the mark on a lot of their flavored chips. They have a Thai kapow, the basil, and the kapow flavor nailed it. But this is not making it. Although, it's good. So anyway, in Okinawa, they have this world-renowned aquarium. Huge. People go to Okinawa from all over the world to see this aquarium. So naturally, I was really excited when the group that designed and built that aquarium in Okinawa did one here in Taiwan, and it opened recently. It's just up about 30 minutes up the highway in Taoyuan. We went there yesterday. Now, I took a bunch of videos in 4K. I'm going to be showing them over the next, couple of streams. But we walked in the door. First of all, I want to say it's a nice aquarium, but it's not being run right. It's far too many people. I'd say there's 5 times too many people in there at one time. The majority of people were wearing masks, but that's not the point. You just couldn't see. Couldn't see the tanks, couldn't see the displays. Some of the displays are down low. And people crowd up, and the number of selfies is just disgusting. I'm trying to see the penguins. There's a glass tank with penguins in there. The penguins come up and float on the surface. They're curious, and they put their beak right up to the glass. So people are standing there, you know, with, you know, trying to go like this, and you know, so there's one guy, and you know, okay, ladies, okay, fine. I don't get the guys doing this. I got a video of a guy from China in Bangkok who sat trying to get the perfect selfie for over 10 minutes while I'm standing there looking at him. Would you please get out of my way? I would like to photograph the penguins, not myself. So I take a picture of the girl, and she's going like this and all this stuff. It's just going on Facebook. You know, who cares? So then she gets up, and I said, oh, excellent. Then all of a sudden, they changed places, like right in front of me. He just put his back right up to me. And I just got really disgusted. But here's the thing. We walked in, and the first couple of tanks were filled with jack-o'-lanterns. Now, I don't like Halloween anyway. You know, one thing I used to love about Taiwan is I could forget about the Super Bowl, the World Series, Halloween, everything I don't like. And now it's creeping in. The main tank. Do you see that thing in the upper right corner that looks like a bat? That is actually a little piece of the jack-o'-lantern. Now, I wasn't going to show this, but I think I will, because I'm pretty sure that I can find it fairly quickly, because it should be at the beginning of our visit. Yeah, here you go. Let me show you this one. Okay, if you give me a second, I'm going to add a couple of them, because there are one or two pictures that I can show you right now that are quite interesting. And oh yeah, like these guys right here. These guys are cool. And they had a section with penguins in a tube. Excuse me, in a tube. Because you probably have seen this. These penguins can swim through these tubes in the cafe. And okay, I'll just put one of those up there. I'm gonna add these three. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you this first, and let me do this. That is, this is, all right, you know what I'm gonna do? This is actually a video. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn the video all the way down, because the sound is irrelevant. So let me just play this video, okay, without any sound. And that's what it looks like. And there's this big, you know, jack-o'-lantern face, you know, like, I mean, what an amazing tank. And those are hammerhead sharks in there. I'm trying to photograph them, and all I see is this jack-o'-lantern. I'm like, sorry, I had lots of videos, and I thought this was a still. You know, those fish are amazing how they're schooling in there like that, you know? But the people behind me, they're all saying, oh, it's terrible. It looks, I mean, it's, you know, it's, they're saying, looking at the jack-o'-lantern was horrible. Now I'm trying to avoid it. But look at those fish, man. Those hammerhead sharks are awesome. But he swims right through the jack-o'-lantern. All right, so anyway, you get the point. All right, so that's that video. Now let me show you this. This is I don't know if you've ever seen like those Alaskan king crabs. You know, in there, I mean, alive. But they're really something to look at. Hard to see because they're in the dark because, you know, they live at the bottom. Now this is, again, this is another little video. I'm see if I can. I'm going to see how well this one shows it. Yep. Here's the penguin swimming through the tube, and he's an absolute riot. He's just having a blast. And this is in a cafe. So yeah. I know. They can really hold their breath for such a long time. It's amazing. Using my gimbal on the table. Wasn't expecting them to make all those moves. So if he goes up, he can go into the main tank and catch his breath. And at the other end of the tube, there's another horizontal part of the tube. And it goes up so he can catch his breath there too. So they're always playing, going back and forth. Anyway, the place is called X Park. And I think once the novelty wears off, and the crowds kind of die down, I think it'll be okay. So if you enjoyed a couple of those previews, let me see. I did prepare one other video for you, and I'll go ahead and put the, this is the video. I'm going to go ahead and put the audio on it for you. This is me goofing around with my gimbal. Oh, this is me goofing around with my gimbal. Okay, so my mic's back on. Now this is Phoenix in front of one of the tanks of jellyfish, and so that video was just me goofing around with my gimbal. This is a big jellyfish room, so there's all kinds of jellyfish in here, and that's that was that room, and it has LED lighting can change on it, so you know it's all kinds of different lighting. And anyway, I don't want to give you the impression that, you know, that nothing about this place was good, because there were a lot of things about it that were really a lot of fun. It's just that there were too many people, and there were too many people in the way, and too much, you know, crowding around to take selfies. But I'll tell you what, there's one guy that did steal the show, and I'm gonna show you this one right now. Okay, I got to do this again. I'm gonna turn the audio off because there's no point in having audio on this. Sorry. This is a okay, thanks. This is a North Atlantic giant octopus. That guy is big. All right. So that's all that I'm going to show you. I was just, these are a couple of things that are on my phone. I haven't gone through and procured them. But I'm going to do a show pretty soon. A series of shows, I think, on our Thailand trip. Guy's honking on his horn to let people know he's coming through. He blew through that intersection at full speed and took a left turn, not knowing if cars were coming from either direction. It could have been. I mean, I could have just watched him get obliterated. I don't understand people here. They take chances every day like that. I want to do a show on our Thailand trip, because this is a screen capture from our Thailand trip. And we saw all kinds of amazing places. And we use this, it's called Roam Wi-Fi. This is the 10 country Wi-Fi box by ivideo.com.tw. And I got to tell you, it works great. It works in all the Southeast Asian countries. And they provided our internet service, and boy, did it was really rocking. So, people, they're not able to travel like they used to. And we got in just under the wire because not more than, I'd say, 2 weeks after we returned, Taiwan implemented a quarantine. And so, see, we left, I'm going to say, was it the 21st, I think? January, and we returned on the 4th of February, I think it was. So, yeah. Well, time flies. Seems like it was just the other day. But anyway, now that people are having difficulty with traveling, oh, that is just wrong. Guy's got a full-size scooter, and because it's electric, has a license plate that says electric vehicle, and they're unlicensed. But electric vehicles are unlicensed here only if they are below a certain horsepower. So now that people are locked down in many places, are unable to travel, I think it's important that we talk about some of the places that we've been and give people a hope and something to look forward to, because it eventually will end. But I don't think it's going to end until 2023. I think we have 2 more years. Just because of past history. Spanish influenza went around the world, and anyway, here's where we're at right now. These are the numbers as of right now. Now, when we go back in time, and look at some of my late night streams from 6 months ago and earlier, I mean, I was concerned when it was 4.2 million. I'm like, come on, people, wear your mask, you know. And so now, Italy, Czech Republic, other countries are forcing emergency lockdowns, and in some places there's major protests again. France has another major outbreak. They're implementing lockdowns, and people are sick of it. They don't want to do it anymore, and I don't blame them. And the main reason is because they can't make money, they can't live. So, welcome on Facebook. Hello. Don't have too many viewers on Facebook. So that really is a shame, and people, you know, they don't have any hope, and so they're protesting, they're rioting some places, and I read today that some of the protests turned violent in some places, so it doesn't help. Just stay home, please. David, how are you? Nice to have you with us. So you can comment on Facebook. All right. Yeah, I made commenting public, so looks like it did the trick. Dave, you know, that's Dave in Osaka, by the way. Dave, I couldn't get Periscope. I couldn't get YouTube to start tonight. Refused to start. I don't know what's going on, but I had the YouTube studio turned on in a browser running in the background like I've always done, and I tried it 3 times, it wouldn't start, so I actually disconnected YouTube from Periscope, from Prism, and I reconnected it, and it still doesn't work. So I'll be talking with Jake about this, because they've been monitoring my broadcast, and they see that I'm having problems with Facebook, and God, I can't even talk tonight. I'm having problems with YouTube, and I don't know why. So the only thing is, I wonder what kind of a comment lag that we're having on Facebook. So those of you just joined, been talking about the X Park, which is the new aquarium that was built by the people in Japan that did that beautiful aquarium in Okinawa, which I do want to go see. We can't see it right now, but that's on my list. As well as Osaka and either a Friday night or a Saturday night at Gion with Dave. That would be cool. Dave, I have a thing. I think that you and I should dress like geisha and just walk down the road in Gion. What do you think? We could just hire a taxi and just have the taxi drop us off, and we could just, walk around up and down the streets and then get back at a taxi. What do you think? Would that be cool? Or maybe, yeah. I don't know why we would get arrested. I mean, Japanese are pretty tolerant. I'll tell you what, though, if it was Elvis with a geisha, I don't think anybody would dare arrest us. Yeah. Well, maybe, okay. maybe being a geisha is a little over the top. I could be a, could be a Maiko, right? The C's wood part. Yeah, I could be a Maiko. There you go. So. There's a Filipino guy around here. Really tall, really muscular, deep voice, long hair. Every time I've seen him, he's worn a mini dress, like a mini skirt dress. And he's like always super polite, and had an interesting, yeah, exactly. Had an interesting conversation with him the first time I met him, and within like 5 minutes I forgot he's wearing a dress. But saw him tonight over there, and it's just funny. You see him, you know, from behind, and don't think anything, and then hear the voice. It's like, yeah, how's it going? It's like, oh, so. Yeah, I know. That motorcycle is just so loud. Hey, how you doing? Fist bump. Dean, I'm doing great. How you doing? Oh, Dave, we had a little review of the Tokyo chicken. These Tokyo and its grilled chicken sticks flavor. Yeah, you probably know this one. I'm eating them because I bought them, but I don't. I give them like a 2.5 out of 5. They're not that good. Yes. Yeah, that's right. It's funny because we hear these words, right, all the time in Japanese, but I don't realize that they're just different pronunciations of the Chinese words that we use all the time. See, one time, do you remember, like maybe about in the broadcast days? I'm talking maybe three years ago when Steve from Florida used to join us. There was a Friday night down here at my neighborhood, a Friday night night market, and I scoped it a couple times. Hey Rob, how you doing? Boom, nice to see you. Fist bump. There's I don't remember that day. It was a tiny little night market, and I would go there and have a couple of draft beers and a steak and chat with you guys, and it was a lot of fun. But I remember I was I remember a scope, and Keizo joined, and it was really interesting because behind the guy, you know, it said Kao Ro in Chinese, right? Like grilled meat. So, yeah, they did. Yeah, that's what I was eating, was the glue steaks, exactly. Dave is so Taiwan aware. And Keizo asked me to show the Chinese. So I held the gimbal, you know, the camera up to it. And he said, oh, that's yakiniku. And I was like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. Okay. And so I guess if you put it on the stick, it's yakitori, I guess. I think that's it. But anyway, I just want to confirm this because in Chinese, this says grilled chicken, and this is the word that they use for like a stick, you know, because it looks like two pieces of meat on a stick, right? Tori, oh, that's interesting. Hey, okay. Well, Jan, you can read this, right? Oh. Yakiniku is meat in general. Yakitori. Oh, because she said, okay. Now I got it. Okay. That's the secret right there. That's the secret. Excuse me. Sorry, I had to evacuate a piece of that. That's the secret. Torti means bird, but it's not like, okay, yeah, I see it. Now that makes sense. You guys just solved that problem for me. Thank you so much. So what we can do is I want to pin this one too. So okay, so I gotta move this over a little bit. So yakiniku is okay. So in Chinese we would just say kao ro, and ro means meat, and it would just be kao ro. But this actually says kao ji, and ji is chicken, so that would be specific. So this would be yakitori, which is why Dave correctly identified that as such. That is so cool. All right, so fantastic. All right, so this is okay, excellent. Wow. You know what? I can go home because I learned my new thing for today. Now I have no idea why YouTube didn't initiate, and I apologize because I know that most of my followers prefer to use Periscope. They prefer to use YouTube over Periscope for comments. I don't know why, because Periscope, YouTube has Periscope is faster, YouTube is slower. But I don't know why, but it's all the same to me. But I apologize. But what I'm going to do is Prism saves the live stream just the way it is in the same resolution to the thank you. It saves it to the camera roll. So I'm going to upload this to YouTube later. Now, for those who just joined, I want to play a video that I featured at the beginning of my broadcast, which is I was talking about the X Park, which is the name of the new aquarium that they built here. It's the same group from Japan that did the Okinawan aquarium there. And so Myrna and Jan, at the risk of boring you, I'm sorry, for the new ones who have just joined, and it looks like our numbers are going up again, I'd like to play this again, and I'll kill the sound. The audio doesn't matter because it's just people. It's just a din of people talking in the background. But I was talking about the fact that there's this huge jack-o'-lantern, and yeah. So I want you to see this because this is a beautiful. It's a beautiful aquarium with it's all like huge acrylic panes, but they actually have hammerhead sharks in this aquarium, and here it is. And this is the bottom floor. I took some video from the upper floor, and I shared some of those privately with Dave on our line group. But that's a hammerhead, man. And I've only seen 1 or 2 hammerhead sharks in captivity. When I was a kid in Florida, there's a place that had hammerheads, and they used to scare me. And they're one of those crazy sharks. There are a couple sharks that are really dangerous. One of them is a tiger because they tend to bite almost anything, and they're persistent. You'll poke them and they keep coming back. And the hammerhead is another one. There are a couple of YouTube videos. Now I don't know why people do this. Well, I do because it's a lot of fun. But from a danger standpoint, they go deep sea fishing from a kayak. And so, when I mean deep sea, they're out like farther than you can see the horizon sometimes in a sea kayak, and they're fishing, and they're catching a pretty big fish, and it's on a hook, and it's sending out all these distress signals, so these sharks come in. Anyway, there's one YouTube video of this guy's got fortunately it's not too far away from the shore, he's got a persistent hammerhead shark that just won't leave him alone. Now, I don't know what the hammerhead would do, but it was coming up and trying to bite the kayak. I don't know if it could sink it or not, but they're big, strong animals. My father told me one time, he said, when you look at a shark and you think you know how strong it is, multiply that by 100. And I haven't had any dealings with live sharks. I've had dealings with dead sharks though, and you can tell by just by touching them how like rippled their bodies are with muscle. They're just incredible animals, incredible creatures. But did you notice the jack-o'-lantern? I was like really like not happy about the jack-o'-lantern. So, and Dave, if you're still with us, I have a, gosh, I played this earlier. Sorry for boring you. I have a magical music video that I shot at this place just for you, Dave. Hopefully you're still here. And you can file that under stuff you know, cool stuff you can do with a gimbal. Here's another video that I'm going to mute the audio on this too. I'm going to mute the audio on this. But this is the penguins that are in the tube. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it, Jan. Thanks. There's a cafe that these tubes come from upstairs is the penguin habitat. There's two tubes. There's two vertical tubes and then one horizontal tube across the top between them. Now I'm on the table. I wasn't expecting him to go over there, but that's the other tube. And he's going to go down. He's going to come back up again. And this guy is a riot, man. He's goofing around. And when they dive underwater, you know, because of the insulation factor, air gets trapped under their fins, you know, under their feathers, and they have apparently oil, and it traps a lot of air, which ends up being an insulator, right? So whenever they dive, a trail of air comes out from what looks like their butt, but it's not. It's just, you know, from the tail end of them. And so this guy was a real joker. He would dive down. And as he was diving down, right, the bubbles are coming out, right, out of the back side of him. And then he would turn around and swim back, and he would, like, snap at the bubbles. He was having a blast. It was, like, so much fun. So I loved it. All right, so now we come to the portion of the program where everybody's on Periscope. So, oh, excuse me, I have one person on Twitch, but the Twitch comments are pretty quick. All right, so as far as the comment speeds go, the interaction is almost immediate. Guys, want to do a Q&A? Are you up for it? Anything you'd like to know about what's going on? And maybe I can tell you from a politically neutral stance. Just, you know, tell the truth about what's going on without politicizing it. Anything that you want to know? Oh, we had some Italian food tonight, and there's a foreigner. I don't know him. He's an expat, Taiwanese wife, and he's got a little restaurant that's only open on Saturday and Sunday. And we went there tonight. And actually Phoenix wanted to go there. And so let me just show you what they had, okay? Now, this is a dish that my wife had, and I'm going to tell you something. I don't actually know what this is. Obviously it's broccoli and that's squash, but that is some kind of a potato dish with some meat mixed into it and baked. And I don't know what it is. But I thought that it was really good because of the interesting factor. The interesting factor was off the scale for me because I'd never seen that before, never seen that dish. And Phoenix got a risotto dish that has sausage in it, chopped up sausage, and a little bit of kind of a black pepper flavor, but quite a bit of garlic, and the salt was just at the edge, you know, where any more it would have been too much. So salt, you know, of course, is the world's greatest flavor enhancer. So dishes that have, you know, that are properly salted usually have a lot of flavor. And this is their spaghetti bolognese, and it has. Let's see if I can find it. It's beef, but it's minced, and it has the wide noodles on it. And I gotta tell you, what was that old saying? Remember a long time ago there was a TV show, and they used to go, "I can't believe I ate the whole thing." That guy, that's me. So I got to figure out what's going on with YouTube. If I can't live stream to YouTube anymore because of changes that they've made, I don't like to be accusatory. But you know, YouTube, and Dave will tell you, and anybody who's ever built a YouTube channel, these guys that have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of followers, yes, I want you to know something about YouTubers, okay? It's a real job. It doesn't come for free. Oh, I don't know, Dave. I mean, you'll have to come on, and I mean, you've been streaming to YouTube with Prism. This just happened to me today. I tried to stream on Thursday, and I had bad connection problems, but I was able to stream to YouTube. So between Thursday and today, something's happened. I don't know what it is. I had on my mobile phone, I had Chrome open, you know, to the studio page, and it says, you know, it's waiting for you to start your encoder and send video, which is what I had to do in the past. And so I just had an email exchange with Jake Song from Naver, you know, the developers of Prism. I just had an exchange with them 2 days ago, and they monitor my streams because he said, "I want to talk to you about the problems you had the last couple times you initiated the stream." So they were checking. You know, they check up. This is what I love about these guys. They actually check up on their streamers who are using Prism. You know, ones who give them developmental feedback. You know what I'm saying? People who they can rely on. You know, for information and suggestions and things about how, you know, performance of the platform. And so I just asked him, what kind of settings do I need to have, and do I need to change anything, and blah, blah, blah. So he hasn't got back to me yet because he needs a couple of days. So I'll probably hear from him tomorrow. But, I mean, YouTube keeps moving the goalposts. I mean, getting back to what I was saying. You know, you might envy somebody that just sits there in their little studio and plays guitar, you know, really fast, and makes YouTube videos and makes a living. But I'm going to tell you, it's a real job. And here's why. It's not like the glory days of Periscope. And even Dave will tell you, Dave has, what is it, 34,000 or 35,000 followers on Periscope. What do you got on YouTube, Dave? Couple thousand, 2,500, something like that. Every single follower you get on YouTube, you have to squeeze it. You look at you want to have a laugh? Look at my followers on YouTube. It's been going 214, 215, 214, 215, 214. It's been going back and forth between those two numbers for the last 3 or 4 weeks. I'll go, oh wow, I got another follower. Okay, I'm back where I was, and then I'll look at it again, and somebody unfollowed me. Something you say or something you did or whatever. Or sometimes people just don't want so much crap. What I mean is they're overwhelmed, you know, in their feed. It is a war. It is a war. So I know sometimes the YouTubers seem like they're kind of smug. They got their little gold or silver plaque in the background. They talk about, you know, so for someone who makes content for a living and they act like it's, you know, but seriously, they spend a lot of time crying, okay, because it's very hard. And I worked really hard. John Sabot actually helped me. There's a scope that he and I did together where I wore my batik and I wore one of my, yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. And one of my colorful man bags, you know, a man's pocketbook, because in America, oh, that's so controversial to wear a man bag, but over here everybody does. But so I had one of my Kipling man bags, and I wore a batik shirt in my one of my Bali headbands that was really colorful, and so John said it just looks very interesting. So we'll put you on camera, and John said, yeah, we'll get you over the 100 mark, and he did. Thanks to John Sabot, I really appreciate that. Man, that's like, gosh, that was 2.5, 3 years ago, something like that. That's what we call the Sazukong. That's where they did. If you look back in YouTube and you look back at Periscope, I did the broadcast called The Pigs of God, which is a name that I stole from Josh Ellis because he did a photograph series on that. That's where they have these contests where they grow the largest pigs. You know, they try to get them as fat as they can, and it takes several years to do it. So, you think so? I don't think so. How can they make money if they did that? But I will talk about that in a second. Remind me. So, I got my 100. I'll never forget. I was sitting over at Win-Win's the first time. This is like 3 years ago when I said, "Hey, I can finally stream to YouTube using a native app." And then they moved it to 1,000. Remember that? And the first thing I did was I got on and I complained about it. I was over at Chubby's, and I was across the street in a park where my daughter was playing. I got on and I did a scope. It's an angry scope. I'm mad. But it's like, what are they doing? And so I've got 214. The limit is 1,000. 1,000. I'm a businessman. And I'm a father. And that's just two things. I don't have time to go rally and campaign and design a plan to do content to get 1,000 followers just so I can stream on YouTube. See, that's one thing that I do like about Periscope. You can have this many followers, okay? But if you can get an account, you can stream. See, what Google has once again failed to do is to recognize the difference between live streaming and what I call edited content. I don't know what else to call it. Most of these the guys like, especially ones in Taiwan, the guys like Xiao Fei, I mean, they spend all day driving around Taiwan. You know, he's got a GoPro. There's GoPros all over his van. There's selfie stick. You know, the guy's got he's got like 20 gigs, you know, of stuff on SD cards at the end of each day, and he spends, you know, weeks editing this stuff. And so when he comes out with a video, it's something that happened, you know, 5 weeks ago. Live streaming is completely different than that. And I'm not knocking that. I like that. It's cool. It's a heck of a lot of work, but it's a totally different thing. It's all subtitled in Chinese. It's subtitled in English. And so he has a lot of Chinese-speaking followers in Taiwan, and he deserves every single one. He worked his tail off doing it. Now, it's not that live streamers don't work our tail off. Well, we don't really. But it's the content that we're bringing is immediate and it's interactive. You know, like you guys remember when Dave was here. Okay, this is what's so cool about live streaming. You know, I knew Dave was coming, and I picked out a spot. I'd never been there, but I checked it out beforehand with information online, and when we got there, it turned out to be a hit. Remember that big temple? And it's like you get to see Dave's reaction. First time he saw, oh wow, okay, now that could have been edited content. Okay, it could have come out after Dave went back to Japan and spent time editing all this stuff on his computer. But you couldn't have interacted with him. You couldn't have interacted with me. You couldn't have heard us talking live dialogue with you at the same time. Because I was streaming the same stuff that he was on my channel. See, you can't do that with the edited content. And so what YouTube has failed to understand, and you know, I talk about this because I'm an engineer in 3 fields, but I am not university educated. I have no degrees. I have worked my way up through hard work. Hard work wins. Hard work and a base amount of intelligence. And I can't believe that people have actually paid me to go into meetings and tell them things like lost opportunity. What do you mean? What I mean is that you failed to see an opportunity and act on it. Like this, like that, and the other. And I never understood that. So, I mean, over the years, we've had our complaints with Periscope, but I'm going to be fair about this. The complaints that I have about Periscope are not about Periscope. They're about Twitter and Twitter's mismanagement and Twitter's handling of it. And the whole thing from some of these, I'm not going to mention these guys, but there's 2 guys in particular that were rivals and just, they were friends, they became rivals, and then they got banned. And it's like, it's all about the Twitter aspect of Periscope. But Periscope is actually technologically a very sophisticated and very good platform. But again, management has lost the opportunity. So, yes. Right. It is. It is. And there's nothing wrong with them. But here's the thing. We all watch the edited content. All of us. But out of the group that watches the edited content, it's probably this much that watches the live streams. That's what I'm thinking. The live streams are, number one, it's a smaller segment of the consumership, if you will. But it's also an extremely loyal segment. People treat me, when I'm streaming, they treat me like I'm a rock star. Seriously, this is funny. This reminds me of back when, you know, in the old days when I was working with CBS Records and, you know, playing big shows and stuff. I mean, I could just go, I don't like the carpet in this dressing room. What do you want? I think I want fuchsia. You know, and you go away and you come back in a couple hours and there'd be fuchsia carpet. I mean, you know, the thing is the live streaming segment, I think, people are a lot more loyal. And I'm not making this up, because if you look at, for example, Twitch and the gaming community, because that is also live streaming, although that's not what we're talking about. The gaming community is so loyal that they will pay people to just sit in a chair. It's very unhealthy. It's an unnatural lifestyle. But they'll even pay for the chair. They'll pay for the computer, the joysticks. They'll pay for the games. To sit there and watch them play games. That's how loyal the live streaming community is. And I think that YouTube has set the bar too high for the entry level on that because it's not the same. I think YouTube has said, well, you know, if you can't get 1,000 followers, you're doing something wrong. I think that's incorrect. I got 2,000 some followers on Periscope, and you guys know I don't do things specifically to get followers, you know, and because Periscope is a dedicated platform for live streaming. Yeah, you can upload stuff to it, but it's still, you're uploading it live. You can't, you know, upload it offline and people discover it later. If you upload to it, you're doing it in real time. So, yeah, it's very, very interesting. I think what's going to happen, I think eventually, when we get past this, we get well along into the next year, and we're able to get a little more breathing room from the pandemic. And I think the Bootsy Network is going to be able to, because it's in the budget, we're going to be able to develop our own platforms for live streaming. And so basically what will happen is in order to see me and the content that I'm doing, you just go to TaiwanLive.tv and you just log in with your regular credentials, and there's a whole universe there, you know, messaging, forums, whatever you want. You got access to all live streams, you got access to exclusive content that's not available anywhere else. You got access to things like the songs that I'm working on and stuff, and some, you know, edited content, and of course every live stream, and even pay-per-view, because it is my goal to bring you some super high quality entertainment with actual, you know, not just me, but actual like real stars, you know, in different industries, and interviews with people. And the pay-per-view part of it will be basically to pay those people to be on the show, but it'll be, you know, it'll be cheap. It's not like you're paying $2.99 to see a prize fight. We're talking like $10, $5, something like that. And so, and then of course, after a certain period of time, everything opens up and becomes free, say like after 6 months or something anyway. So those are the kinds of things that I'm looking at. And I also own another domain called AsiaLive.tv. So we've got TaiwanLive.tv and AsiaLive.tv. AsiaLive.tv right now just points to Taiwan Live TV because I don't have any content there. But now our good friend Dave is in Asia. So he could be broadcasting to the Asia Live social network. Now, the interesting thing is, back before Periscope, Twitter killed Catch, which was the back end that we all desperately needed. See, if Catch had been allowed to continue, or if Twitter had done the smart, intelligent thing, which is to buy Catch and permanently link it with Periscope, then it would be like the YouTube, you know what I mean? It would be of live streaming. It would have been incredible. I had already gotten permission, if I can say this, from Dave and from Rebecca in Hawaii and some others to publish their content, not for profit for me, but just to make them available on AsiaLive.tv. And if you guys remember the famous broadcast that Dave did from Myanmar when they had that big earthquake, this is incredible. To me, I mean, this is one of the most, talk about live streaming content. One of the most incredible things that I have ever seen was when Dave was streaming and he signed off, okay guys, I'll see you later. And he came on 10 minutes later and all he said was, oh my God, oh my God. He said it like 30 times, 40 times, oh my God, oh my God. And they're like, Dave, what's wrong, what's wrong? You know, he's showing his motorcycle. He got knocked off his motorcycle. The earthquake was so bad he just dumped it. And the tops of all the temples where he had just been, the spires at the top of the stupas were all broken. And that was, he was just standing up there like 10 minutes earlier. I took those broadcasts and I embedded them in AsiaLive.tv using iframe. Back before Periscope implemented measures to prevent people from doing things like that. But I did it because they had is what I'm about to say correct or not? I may have embedded those with Catch, now that I think about it. And then when Catch was dead, I had to use iframe. I just used HTML programming and embedded them using an iframe. And I got to tell you, I had some pretty good dialogue with Catch, and they said, yeah, there's other people that are trying to do things like you're trying to do with websites based on Periscope content. And they were very forthright about it. They were very helpful and very cool. And I had, TaiwanLive.tv in the early days was using Catch replays, and they were all, it was amazing. I had paid for software and set it up so that I made a playlist of all the different live streamers who were doing Taiwan content on Periscope that were on Catch, because Catch was an opt-in deal. If you didn't set up a Catch account, your Periscopes wouldn't be captured by Catch. What's called as Catch. It catches the Periscope. But it enables you to embed it, and it captured the comments too, which I think was the reason that Twitter killed it, because the comments are proprietary. Every time you do a Periscope broadcast, you can save the Periscope to your phone, but it doesn't save the comments. The comments are proprietary. I saw a breakdown. It used to be done by a service called Chatman. Anyway, I digress. So, on the YouTube channel, on Taiwan Live TV YouTube channel, there are some early Catch broadcasts. This is before the terms of service prevented you from doing that I screen captured, because I also bought screen capture software. And particularly the one where I went to the teppanyaki restaurant and I scoped that, the teppanyaki chef doing all these kind of really cool dishes. And that I used the Catch replay, and because the Periscope was gone. In those days it was gone in 24 hours. That's one of the reasons Catch was developed, because Periscope only lasted for 24 hours. Which, non-coincidentally, the day that Catch went out of business, Periscope announced that now their broadcast would be saved. And that's when I tweeted, wow, somebody got married the day after the wife's funeral. So, when Dave did the Myanmar broadcast, I thought they were just so important. And the problem is they get lost in Periscope. Go try to find something. Try to see, it's all about today, and it's not about, what happened 3 or 4 years ago, but those things are important too. And so, certain live streamers don't care about replays at all. I care about replays not for numbers, but for relevancy, and that was the problem. That was the problem that Catch solved, and they still haven't, to this day, come up with a solution for that. Periscope is a black hole, and Dave and I have had many private conversations. I'm not going to speak for Dave, but I will tell you that many of the Periscope streamers have realized that they have invested thousands of dollars into creating content that's never going to be seen again, because it just disappears down the black hole that's Periscope. And I mean, I've been talking about YouTube for years, and Rebecca got mad at me one time. She kind of said, well, if YouTube's so great, go stream to YouTube. I said, I am, but it's not optimized, for live streaming. So what we need is a social media platform that does live streaming and everything else, but makes it easy to index it, makes it easy to find past broadcasts. And because the thing is as a broadcaster, I can see all of my broadcasts, 300 something broadcasts or whatever. When you look at somebody else's streams and you see they've got 300 broadcasts, you can't necessarily go see them, especially on the web. If you look on the web interface, it only goes back like, I don't know, I forget, 30 or something. Not very many. It's a ridiculously small amount, a short amount, and they don't go back very far, which means that you can't use the web version to embed it, and they do that on purpose. So when they came out with that last terms of service that killed screen recording and uploading, which Jonathan J.K. and John Ho were doing all along, and I don't know if they're still doing it, but they were doing it way past that and getting away with it. They were lucky. But what they want you to do is do a Twitter embed. Now, if you go to TaiwanLive.tv, it's not even a secured HTTPS because there's nothing there. I mean, you don't enter anything. It doesn't collect any data, so I never bothered with an SSL certificate for it. But if you go to TaiwanLive.tv, all the embeds are YouTube. They're all YouTube videos. Because what Twitter wants you to do, that is the owners of Periscope, they want you to do a Twitter embed of the Periscope broadcast. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever seen a Twitter embed, but first of all, it's square. It's not HD, it's square, and it's tiny. And it looks like it's from 2009. It is so ridiculous. And it doesn't actually make it available for you to view on your site. It sends you to the other site, which is one of the things that I wanted to do. I wanted the traffic to stay on my site because I want to know what it is. I don't want somebody to go to TaiwanLive.tv, click, and go someplace else. I want to know who's looking at my site. And the only way that you can do that is to keep them on your site. So there you go. Wow. Now I've been running my mouth for about the last 20 minutes without a comment. So let me know. You guys still there? All right, so let me tell you what I've been working on in the studio a little bit. I'm always tweaking my setup. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Well, listen, please, feel free to interrupt me, okay? Rob, you might be working out, I understand. But please, feel free to interject. If I say something you object to or you don't understand and you want a further explanation, my word, come on. I've been listening in my studio to a lot of these Queen tracks. And I'm a big Brian May fan and Queen fan in general. And I have, I got a Brian May guitar. And I have the Vox VBM1 Brian May amp, which does Brian May sounds of a certain type, because he basically had two main types of sounds. Now, I've been listening to tracks in my studio, and I'm listening to them on my recording monitors. And one of the things that I always liked about, we call it a kind of a brown sound. He's at a really, really high mid-range, like 1.2, 1.5K. Okay. Boost, in the mid-range. And the high end is rolled off a little bit. except when he's playing clean. When he's playing clean, it's really the high end sparkly comes back, and it's really a brilliant sound. But I was listening to like the solo on Bohemian Rhapsody, and I actually soloed the tracks, and it sounds to me, and I know the movie shows it mic'd up a certain way, but it sounds to me like it was put in like a small little box, like a booth. And so I have a cabinet in my studio in the back, and one of the things that this cabinet features is there's one, like, I guess you call it a cubby hole with a door on it. And I drilled a couple holes in it for cables and stuff. John, how you doing? Fist bump to you, bro. All right, John Ho, you guys follow him too, all right? So you follow Dave and you follow John. And anybody else in the stream. John, how's things in Thailand, man? Yeah, it has been a while. I've been secretly watching your stuff, though, when you haven't been looking, just offline, because, you know, I have to tell you, being a dad, got all kinds of stuff going on, and you got business ventures, and so do I, so, yeah. Fortunate enough to be in Taiwan, where we don't have a coronavirus threat, but we have a, you know, an actual military threat, but so anyway, so I was talking about this this sound. I soloed the what I mean by solo was I muted all the other tracks, and I just listened to the guitar solo of Bohemian Rhapsody, and it sounds like it's in a box, you know. So I got this cabinet in my studio, and I put the VBM1 in it, and I tried a couple different mics, and I got to tell you, I got a mic, you know, it's and you know, the speaker, say this big, and there's a voice coil in the center. You don't always want to aim the mic at the center. You want to aim it a little bit to the side on the paper cone. And I ran it through the Soundcraft Ghost, which is the analog console. And I EQ'd it there. You know, I jacked up the 1K, and I took the 12K down a little bit, and I took the low end, like 60 hertz, down to almost nothing. And then I ran the output of the Ghost into the X32 digitally, and then into Reaper. And I got to tell you, I'm playing the Brian May guitar, and of course I'm not Brian May, but the tone, man, is like all of a sudden the tone came out as like instant Queen. That's amazing. So I think I'm gonna make a little recording for my followers of my Brian May clone guitar sound with the amp in the cabinet, because I was really shocked. What I'm going to have to do, though, I've lined the cabinet with some absorbent materials, but they're not quite doing the job. I'm going to use some alternative materials to absorb the reflections to a greater degree. All right, now, I had a little bit of Jim Beam, and I have finished it. And so I got another small bottle. I'm not going to finish it tonight, it's too much. But this is my famous teacher's, yeah, here we go, Highland Cream. And this is the only Scotch blend that I like. And one of the reasons I like it is because even though it's a Highland, there's a touch of smoke. And I'll tell you how much of a purist I am. I'm going to use a different cup. Highland Scotches, of course, being from the Highlands, meaning up high, the land up high, it's hard to hire laborers to go up and cut peat, you know, to burn, to dry the barley, the malted barley. So that's why many Highland Scotches don't have peat smoke, just so you guys know. So the Islay and, you know, I guess you call it the lowlands, the island scotches and so forth. And many of them, like Lagavulin, for example, like the Lagavulin 16 is just incredible. What an amazing whiskey. And Rob, I know you're a whiskey guy, so I turned you on to the Glendronach, and that is probably my favorite distillery, but it's a Highland, and they only have one peated expression, and it's very expensive. But if you get Lagavulin 16, and I've had the Lagavulin, there's a master version that I think was 21 years. Oh, I almost fainted. Yeah, but the Teachers, the thing that I like about Teachers, I don't know, John, because I never imported it. But I will tell you this. I will tell you that whiskeys that are extremely expensive outside of Taiwan are very cheap here, because it turns out, I read on a website, and I couldn't believe it, that Taiwan is the 5th largest consumer of whiskey in the world. And I had to read that several times. Let me give you an example. I just mentioned it, Rob. Rob said great stuff about this Glendronach 12-year whiskey. Now, Rob, I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, just please, tell me yes or no. I think you said you paid $75 for that. Is that correct? That bottle of 12-year Scotch that I recommended, it was 75 bucks. And Rob said it was worth every penny. Yes, 75 bucks. In Taiwan, it's 30. It's 30 bucks in Taiwan. The same Scotch. Okay. Yeah. Now, see, I don't know if that's true, but that's what I wrote. I know. Now this is 120 milliliters, and this was 120 yuan. So yeah, 120. So anyway, I'm not really good. So $4 for this. And now here's the thing. There is a distillery called Ardmore. Not Ardbeg. And Ardbeg is great. Ardmore. And Ardmore Distillery does some of the finest expressions. They do one called the Legacy, which in Taiwan is 20 bucks. And I'm gonna say in America it's probably about 60 bucks. But the Ardmore Legacy has just the right amount of peat smoke in it, and it's it's a non-age statement, but in Scotland that means they have to be aged at least for, I think it's 2 years. This has no age statement, but it's a blend. So I tasted Teachers, right? And I bought a 1 liter bottle, of Teachers for 329 NT, which is like about $10.50 US, right? For a liter of whiskey. And I was tasting this whiskey, and I go, this tastes like Ardmore Legacy. So I got out my phone, and I looked up Teachers Highland Cream. And then I read that Teachers the brand was bought by Ardmore. And that 75% of the Ardmore distillery output goes into Teachers. And I'm like, well, there you go. So Rob, I'm telling you, if you can find, because Teachers it's William Teachers, I think, right? Is that what it says? Yeah, WM Teachers, William Teachers and Sons. If you can find Teachers Highland Cream, this should be a relatively inexpensive blend that's comparable to a single malt that is a very high caliber. So the Ardmore distilleries, yeah, I've had enough to drink. 75% output goes there. So, oh, okay. 35 bucks. Okay. Well, thank you for looking that up. That's an inexpensive whiskey. All right, I'll tell you what. So while you're at it, can you tell me what a bottle of Teachers goes for from the same source? Teachers Highland Cream. But here it is. The smoke's not overwhelming, but it's there. But I gotta tell you, what I like about it is The same thing I like about the Glendronach 12. It's not an oak bomb. Some of these whiskeys that are matured in oak casks are so incredibly oaky that I can't take it. It's too much. But I haven't had this for a while. You know what I like about it? Nosing it. Of course, I'm not. This is a plastic cup, and I know it's. I know I just committed a mortal sin. Nosing it, I can't really smell the peat. But when I'm, at home, when I'm in a nosing glass, the ones that are curved in the top to concentrate, just like a. That's why wine glasses are shaped like this, guys. It's to concentrate the nose, the bouquet. The bouquet residents of Lydia house speaking. So, if I do this, wait it around a little bit, can't really tell, but Rob, I'm telling you, yeah, so, Dean, you got that reference, didn't you? Patricia Rutledge, one of my favorites. Keeping Up Appearances. Rob, if you like Highland scotches, but you also like peated scotches, I think the Highland, the Highland cream, I think it's going to be. Oh, that's strange. Yeah, that is weird. I never had that happen. I think the Highland cream is going to be something that you will enjoy, Rob. And I'm really glad that they've kind of made sort of a, whiskey for the masses. Because us married guys, it's like, honey, I'm going to buy some whiskey. How much is it? Well, it's $250. What? It's $250. It's like $250 for a bottle of whiskey. Yeah, but you don't understand. If I could, I would inject it in my veins. I mean, I think it's the elixir of life. I'm gonna get 3 drops on the mummy's tongue. He's gonna come back to life. I mean, some of these whiskeys are just incredible, and they got whiskeys. And John, you've been to Taiwan, you know the NT. They got whiskeys over here at the store where I buy my whiskeys in Jubei for 40 and 50,000 NT, man. It's like, okay. That's 1,200, 1,500. Yeah, okay. 谢谢，感谢你哈. Okay, take care. Thank you so much. And we didn't meet your wife, but please say hi. And give your kids a big hug and kiss for us. Appreciate it. Thank you. I want to come back to Thailand, and next time I'm coming to see you. That's a warning later. Thank you, John. So, Rob, if you're still with us and you're listening, have you found a U.S. price for the Highland Cream, Teacher's Highland Cream? And maybe, Dean, if you're still with us and you're, second device or computer or something. Still, okay. Oh, is it hard to find? Wow, okay. Should be pretty common. But, let me ask you this, Rob. Have you had the Ardmore Legacy? Have you had the Ardmore Legacy? And if you have, do you like it? Because I got to tell you, I had it here because I bought it, quite frankly, because it's a single malt and it was inexpensive, and I was intrigued by that. It's like this is a $20 bottle of a single malt whiskey. There's no age statement, but it's still a single malt, and it was unbelievable. Oh, there's some guys over there vaping. I can tell because of the huge cloud. And it's interesting because e-cigarettes are illegal in Taiwan. And okay, all right. Well, that either means you had it and it's really good, or you've never had it. So it could go either way. It's a joke in Taiwan that I say with people. You know, they go, why don't you? The Taiwanese are always asking me, why don't you get drunk? Well, I don't like to get drunk. Why don't you like to get drunk? And I say, because I always forget. You forget what? I forget whether I had a good time or not. So that's how it goes. So, 昨天晚上好玩吗？不知道，忘记了。So was last night fun? I don't know. I forgot. Yeah, e-cigarettes are banned. If you take a flight into Taiwan, they tell you that they'll confiscate it confiscate it at the airport. But the ones that are already here, that's one thing I like about Taiwan. They don't kind of do the retroactive thing. There are a couple of vape shops around that are still selling stock that they bought before the ban, but when they're done, they're done. And if they're selling stuff, you know, beyond that, then they can get busted. But they clamped down on vaping, like from the beginning, because they recognized that it was a big health risk. But my other device is having a problem. $29 locally. So let me see. I'm going to scroll back. You said that 35 Legacy 35. Okay, $29, and that's 700 milliliters. Okay. Well, Rob, what do you think? Is $29 okay for a bottle of whiskey? What do you think? I'll tell you what I'd like to see. I don't know if you want to do it on Periscope or not, but I'd like to see you get a bottle of that and at least, you know, post about it in the late night group. 1.75. That's woo, folks. Yeah, that's yeah. No, you mean 1.75 liters? Yeah, so would that be 1,750 liters, right? That's what you mean, right? 1.75 L. Woo! You guys have seen the 2-liter Coke? That's okay. You guys have seen the 2-liter Coke, right? Well, that's, you know, that's 1 3/4 of a 2-liter Coke. That's a lot of man. That's a lot of whiskey. That's okay. So, Rob, would you consider like trying it? And you know, I know I'm asking you to risk $30, but what do you think? Would you be up for trying it? That's my man. You know, Rob is a real man. I'm going to tell you right now. That's my man talking right there. All right, look. I don't know if you want to do a Periscope, you know, about it. Taste testing in Periscope. But I think people would find that very interesting. But do me a favor, and don't put it in one of our famous Taiwanese, like, pink plastic cups. I'm just, you know, I'm outside. I'm not going to go, you know, bring one of my whiskey nosing glasses from home. But, yeah. You know, the funny thing is, right, you guys have seen me over the years do, not too many, but you've seen me do several whiskey tastings, you know, for real. But I've never actually done a for real teacher's whiskey tasting. And I was thinking the other day, because even Phoenix knows I like this. She'll go somewhere and she'll go, Papa, look, they got teachers. I'm like, that's my daughter. She knows what whiskey I like, you know, so. I think I'm going to do a for real tasting of this. Because I had the Jim Beam. I got the Jim Beam because it was cheap, so. Generally speaking, I drink teachers straight. Like now. But there are some times when, and I think about the fact that, Sir Winston Churchill used to drink whiskey and soda, and I mean that's pretty much how World War II was won, was on whiskey and soda. But sometimes I'm thirsty. Do you know what I mean? See, you don't drink whiskey if you're thirsty. You drink whiskey because you want to relax. But sometimes I want to relax and I'm tired and I just want to, chill out. And I want a drink that I can drink and satiate my thirst. But I like the flavor, so I will do a Teacher's and soda on the rocks in like a huge cup. And I always pour like about maybe 20% at the bottom of the cup, on ice, and then, because the ice displaces it, so it's really, really not that much whiskey. It's just enough to, to flavor it, and then the rest is soda water. So yeah, exactly, kind of like a highball. Yeah, exactly. And you can add lemon if you want to, or not, but I usually don't. But when I'm in the mood to drink whiskey, and the funny thing is having in the house, several different kinds of like high quality single malts. Sometimes I'll reach, for the Teachers. I reach for the Teach because it's just, blends have their place, and I've watched some programs on Scotch blending, and master blenders actually can blend whiskeys that blow single malt scotches out of the window because they're made from single malt scotches. That all the blends are made from like the finest single malt scotches, and you can do that with other things. If you want to make like the most incredible milkshake, really, oh, a liter, okay, but that's $23 for a liter, Dean. But Rob found it here, right? Rob found it here for $29 for 1.75 liters. So that's almost. I mean, that's 3/4 more. For what? $4 more? So I think that's a better deal. So, but by all means, I encourage you to try it and drink responsibly. I do not endorse drunkenness, and I hate drunks. And well, let me rephrase that. I don't hate any person or people. I hate people who are drunk. No, wait a minute. No, I hate drunkenness. That's how I should say it. Because it's the activity, it's the behavior, not the people. And that's what I teach my daughter. Just in this. Is it? Okay, good. Driving and scoping is okay. Just in this little plastic cup, though, I'm really, really, really appreciating the flavor of this. All right, so Dean, are you going to get some? And Rob, you're going to get some. So, Rob, are you going to do like, are you going to do a stream, or are you going to do like a review in late night? All right, now you were asking me about drinking it straight or on the rocks, but I got just a tad in here. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do, because this is the bourbon one. It smells like lemon. I'm going to put the Teachers in here. I'm going to put a little bit. I got just a little bit of this lemon stuff left. And I'm going to do the Teachers with a lemon, which I had previously done the lemon with the Jim Beam. So this is a little bit different. The lemon is overwhelming. I'm sorry. Should do a, I understand. Well, there's scientific evidence that water actually releases some of the flavonoids, I guess is the word, in whiskey. So yeah, I mean, even professional tasters put a few drops of spring water in it. So yeah, on the rocks, nothing wrong with that. Okay, you love, yeah, me too. But in Taiwan, right, the green ones, we call those limes in English, but they call those lemons here. But this is confessions. I'm sorry. I bought this because it was cheap. It was very inexpensive. I don't really like bourbon, but I tried it. And the only reason I got it was because, for making highballs. Well, let me show you something, okay? This is a new phenomenon in Taiwan. This is funny. Okay, now, I'm glad we're talking about this because I wasn't going to show you this. But yesterday, when we were at the cafe, right? Oh my goodness, this is unbelievable. When we were at the cafe, I got 3 pictures to show you. I was like, what is going on? They got this Jim Beam here. This is yesterday at the cafe, right? I like Jim Beam okay. It's not, well, let me back up. I'm not a big bourbon drinker because bourbon has to have 50% corn and it does change the flavor. But I used to drink bourbon in my youth. I used to drink George Dickel and Wild Turkey, and I thought those were really good, and I can't get them in Taiwan. Jim Beam is kind of, actually Jim Beam was bought by Suntory Japan, so now it's called Beam Suntory. Believe it or not, you guys have seen me drink Suntory, the Japanese liquor. It's a cute little stray dog here. It's really cute. It's a poor dog. I've seen him a number of times. He's looking for something to eat, but I don't have anything to give her. I guess it's a she. So I'm at this place yesterday, and I see all these bottles of Jim Beam. I'm like, what is going on? So, there's one other picture that I got to show you. Hang on. I forgot to put this into the studio. Give me 1 second. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. So after that, I saw this on the menu. Now look at this, man. Highball, the Jim Beam Highball. Thanks, Rob. Hey, listen, Rob, you got to stay for 1 more minute. Got to stay for 1 more minute, okay? Don't go yet. Got to stay for 1 more minute. You got to see this. Then they had the Mega Jim Beam Highball. And then, after that, I was over here, and I saw this. And they had this machine. And I don't know what this machine does, but it says Jim Beam Highball. I think that's the machine, like the tap, that puts like, the lemon stuff in there for the highball, right? And then, when I went to check out, they, I got to take these off. Then they had this one. They have, in the front, the smaller Jim Beam mugs, and then they got the huge Jim Beam mugs. So now you can see that the Mega Jim Beam Highball, how big that thing is. Okay, Rob, now you have my permission to leave. Thank you, now that you've seen that. So I'm going to tell you, it's just my opinion that this Highland cream with that lemon is way better. But your mileage may vary. Peace and love to you too, bro. Thank you so much. Okay, and I just thought you would want to see that. Thank you. I'm looking forward to your answer about doing a teacher's review in the late night group or on Periscope, because I would really like to know what you think of this whiskey, because I know you like whiskeys like me. So, all right. Anyway, all right. I'm going to do this. I've got this is the cup that I had the lemon in. I'm going to put a little bit more teachers in it, and I'm going to put just a touch more of this lemon in it. And I'm rapidly approaching my limit where I automatically stop drinking. Bye now. Take care. Thank you. Thanks so much, Rob. We'll see you. Take care. I'm rapidly approaching my limit where I automatically shut down and don't drink any more alcohol. This is very, very, very light. Not too much on the whiskey. More on the lemon. But I have to admit, Now, Jan, do you drink whiskey? Are you a whiskey drinker? Do you drink it all? Or, I certainly don't want to offend anyone who doesn't drink. Oh, no, okay. Do you drink at all, any kind of alcohol? And I certainly support my friends who abstain from alcohol. And I respect people who know their limits and don't cross them. Yeah. See, one reason I never tried drugs was because when I was young I tried alcohol and I went, whoa, I really like this, I better stop. So I did. I never took drugs. But do you drink wine or anything? I guess I asked two questions, Kim. Kimmy on Periscope, but Jan on YouTube. Jan, I asked two questions. I asked, do you drink whiskey or do you drink any alcohol? So, I mean, you can always say, MJ, it's none of your business, which it isn't. Boy, we had some fun. But can you imagine how when I'm looking at all these bottles of Jim Beam, let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? Okay, that's good, actually. That's really good. And especially the smoking, so. Now, here's the thing, though. You know, Jan, and I'm sure you run into this before, some men will look at you and go, you're no fun. But you know, my wife used to drink years ago. When we were dating, we took lots of trips. We went to Thailand and other places, and even after we were married, we spent many times like at the #1 bar in Can. And I remember back in the old days, my wife and I, we would kill like a whole bottle of Suntory whiskey. Like, we're talking about six or 8 hours, you know. And we wouldn't get drunk. We were browsing and eating and stuff, but she would probably drink like maybe a third of it. But she doesn't like to drink anymore. And that's just fine with me. She's a very serious woman, you know, and she's a mom and a businesswoman, and so, yeah, I mean, these things are not important. But you ever notice how over time you might change? You might say, well, I just don't feel like drinking anymore like I used to. And some of your friends will turn on you. They're like, wow, what's wrong with him? What's wrong with her? It's like, nothing's wrong. But why would things stay the same? Why would things be, the same from the beginning to the end of your life? They're not. It's a roller coaster. Everything's always changing. So, yeah. But, when I went on my fast for that last week, I only actually drank on one night. And I'll tell you what, it really hammered me. I just drank a little bit. My friend Andreas from Germany, who's the brewmaster, he's currently actually, it's amazing. He's making some cinnamon. He calls it schnapps, but it's not because it's a higher alcohol level. He's making a cinnamon rum for me. fermenting it now. He's actually making a turmeric rum for me too, which is incredible. But he well, anyway. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the sports car here. I'm sorry. There's a sports car I never saw before, and I'm like, and when I see some sports cars, I'm like, I'm brain dead. Yeah, there you go. Now, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I saw a sports car. Sorry. You should see what happens to me when I see a Nissan GTR. Because I'm making the sound of the, comes out the exhaust. Dean, what kind of rum do you drink in your Coke? And that's another one. Sports cars are big in Taiwan. What kind of rum do you drink? Because, Costco here in Taiwan, gosh, I must sound like an alcoholic to you guys, but you know I'm not. You see me so many times. Costco had that Kirkland 1.75 milliliters, big bottle of Caribbean spiced rum, 46% alcohol. I mean, that rum was like, ah! And they discontinued it, and it made me so mad. I'm going to have to import it myself. Another rum that everybody should get, which everybody who follows me knows, is the rum from India called Old Monk. Anyway. But Kim, I want you to know that I respect that, especially the no smoking. Wow. Oh, okay. Oh, Coke Zero. Oh, no. NutraSweet, phenylalanine. Oh, 5 years rolling on the floor and going up to the commode because it's cold and migraine headaches and no work. Oh, NutraSweet diet soda ruined my life. Oh, please. Listen. You're better off drinking the sugar and dealing with the type 2 diabetes because you can fight that with black seed oil, with omega-7, with hemp oil. You can balance your blood sugar, but you can't do anything about the phenylalanine if you're allergic to it. Oh my goodness, yeah. Dean, my recommendation to you is to use regular Coke 50-50 with soda water, because you just want the flavor from the Coke. That's all. You really don't want all that stuff that's in it, right? But I will say this. That spice rum, right? Dean, promise me you'll try this. Promise me that you'll try plain soda water, no flavor. Just soda water with ice and that rum. So you can really taste the rum and not the Coke. And see if you like that, okay? Because when I make my cinnamon rum, right? Using Sri Lankan cinnamon. Yeah. Yeah. When I make the Sri Lankan cinnamon rum, I drink it with soda. Jan, I perceive you to be a person of high moral standards. I appreciate that. Yes. Yes, exactly. Dean, just try that, because I'll tell you what. You can really taste the rum, right? And if the rum is good, you don't need anything else. See, I used to drink rum and Coke, and I'll tell you why. because the bartenders used to give me Bacardi White. Sorry. So what is Bacardi White? Bacardi White is a Caribbean rum made in Puerto Rico with absolutely no flavor whatsoever. Its sole purpose is to add alcohol to a drink, but it doesn't add any flavor whatsoever, which is why I love that Caribbean spice rum, the Kirkland spice rum. You want to know what the best rum I ever had was? It's in the Philippines. It's made by Taiwan, and it's called T5. It's 35%, and it tastes like butterscotch. It comes in a really skinny bottle, okay? So it's really tall because it's 700 milliliters, but it's really skinny. And it was, if I recall, it was 52 Philippine pesos, which would have been about like $1.25. Yeah. And was it T5? Was it T5? Did they call it T5 Light? Was it? Or T5? This is 2011, okay. Spiced rum. It was Kirkland that they had it in Taiwan. It's Costco, so it's Kirkland. They have, Costco has a spiced Kirkland rum from one of the Caribbean islands, Caribbean spiced rum. It's brown. It's unbelievable. Now, I'm getting into what we call the Manila rums. Manila rums are made, see, it all comes from sugar cane, but sometimes it's not made from sugar cane directly. It's made from byproducts of the sugar industry, which all comes from sugar cane and sugar cane juice. When we were in Laos, they had a homemade press that was human powered. You would walk this stick all the way around, and they had these two counter-rotating logs that you would put the stock into and it would squeeze them. It's pretty amazing. And they would make this drink, and it was, I mean, 2 drops and I'd be in a diabetic coma. But one of the byproducts of sugarcane sugar production is molasses. And if you use molasses to make rum, it tastes different than if you use sugar to make rum. And one of my favorite molasses-based rums is Old Monk from India. And Old Monk in India is dirt cheap, but everywhere else it's expensive. But there's Tanduay and Tondeño, which are 2 Manila rums that are also brown colored. Not like Old Monk is almost black. You guys have seen me show Old Monk before on this channel, and also Coco has shown Old Monk, and it's very, very, very dark brown. I mean, you can hold a bottle up, and you can't see through it. You can't see light through it. For all intents and purposes, it kind of looks like coffee. So the T5 that I had in the Philippines, it was like $1.50 for this, and it tasted like butterscotch, but it's 35% as opposed to 40 or like 46% in the case of the Kirkland rum. And so what you would do is you'd put an ice cube in a glass, and you put like this much of the T5 in, and you just splash a little bit of Stray B, or Sprite, as they say in English. And it matched the Sprite absolutely perfectly. But the problem is, it's a ladies' drink. Now that's not a cut. because, you know, characteristically ladies' drinks have been milder, not as spicy, not as strong. What I mean by a ladies' drink is any drink that goes down real smooth, but when you try to get up and walk away, you fall down on your face because you're drunk and you don't even know it. And that's what the problem with the T5 is it tastes so good. Butterscotch candy, you guys have all had that. Butterscotch candy, you put it in your mouth, you're like, oh, this is crazy. Can you imagine an alcohol that tastes like that? You want to go like this. And that's the problem. You can't, okay? Because it's alcohol. But Sprite matches it so well. But actually, you know, it goes good with Coke too. But yeah. So, if you can find Tanduay, the Philippine rum, or Tondeño, which is the other one. If you can find either one of those, just search on Philippine rums. If you can find any of those authentic Philippine rums in your local store, just try them out. Now I want to personally apologize to Jan because probably the last 45 minutes has been boring because she doesn't drink. I'm sorry, but sometimes we talk about alcohol, but we never talk about tobacco. Tobacco's not natural. You burn something, you know, it's on fire, and you breathe the smoke in. Why don't you just stick your face, you know, up to a tailpipe of a car? All right. Thank you so much for joining. I gotta go. It's getting late. It's actually 1:16 a.m. local time. And I've actually had to use my Xiaomi battery bank because I've been broadcasting so long. My Xiaomi 9T Pro phone has run out of battery. I want to say thank you to 0 people on Facebook, 24, 22. I guess, on Periscope, and 1 on Facebook, and 0 on YouTube, but I promise I will upload it tomorrow to YouTube. So thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. Jan, what can I say? You know, you're one of my most loyal fans, and you're very new to my channel. I really appreciate it. I want to say, we say in Chinese, 感谢你, which means thank you so much, like saying from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And Dean and Rob, John Ho, and we can go through the list here, you know. And we've got Rob, and no, I said Dave, of course Jan, and Myrna. Yeah, Myrna was here from the beginning. So yeah, we've had a number of the late night fans here tonight. So thank you so much. I gotta go brush my teeth, take a shower, and go to bed, because we take showers in Asia at night because it keeps the bed clean. That's a whole nother show about showers. I got some stories to tell about that, but yeah, you know, in Asia we take showers at night. And Americans who visit Taiwan think that's so weird. But I gotta tell you something, as an American person who's been living in Taiwan since 2004 and traveling here since the beginning of the 21st century, I think it's weird that you get up in the morning, take a shower, and you work all day and you sweat and you get yourself tremendously dirty and grimy and stinky, and you just take your clothes off and you jump into the bed and you sleep. Dirty. That's weird. Here's what I recommend that you do. And I know a lot of people watching me on Periscope are from the United States. It has been fun, thank you. Get in the habit of doing this. Change the sheets on your bed. And no matter if you took a shower in the morning or not, it doesn't matter. Right before you go to bed, take a shower. And men, give yourself a nice clean shave. That's really good. And I got to tell you, sometimes I take 2 or 3 during the day. Give yourself a nice clean shave. And in the morning, you can just get out of bed and put your work clothes on and go, and that's it. Just brush your teeth, obviously before you go to bed. You're ready to go, man. Don't need a shower in the morning. You can take one if you want to, but it's unlikely that you become that soiled from, when you went to sleep to the morning. But yeah, like Dean says, because, there's nothing wrong with it, and it feels good to take a shower, and it's also good for waking up, too. So there you go. Thank you so much for joining. It's been a pleasure. I want to say xie xie to everybody out there, and we're going to say wan an, good night, and wherever you are in the world. Yeah, there you go. Wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening. Just enjoy life. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next time. MJ Klein saying good night from Taiwan. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for staying with me. I love all you guys. Take care. Bye-bye. Unbelievable. Thank you so much.